In this video, I'm going to explain to you the 5 golden rules of real estate investment. Hi, I'm Flegg from Ethical Property Partners. Rule number 1 is invest for cash flow. It is absolutely paramount that every single property you buy into your portfolio, especially at the start, is generating positive cash flow for you. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, talks about an asset being something that puts money in your pocket every single month. Now, for sure, there are exceptions to this. Some portfolios, especially once they're larger, maybe you've got 10 or 20 properties, and you come across a really good property that's going to give you massive capital growth over time, but it's going to cost you a little bit each month. That's okay. You can have a negative cash flow property in a highly cash flow positive portfolio. That's okay. And I have a few, but I have 2 or 3 out of 60 plus properties in my portfolio. So that's the kind of balance you're looking for. For certain, the first 10 properties have to be cash flow positive. Rule number 2 is you must not leave money in any deals. Now, it's okay to put money in, they don't all have to be no money down. And if I'm honest, if you give yourself the rule that every deal has to be no money down, you're not going to probably do enough deals. So I'm absolutely fine putting money into a deal, so long as I get it out pretty quickly. And we're looking for a maximum term of 12 months. So long as we get 100% return on our money, so long as whatever we put in, we get all of it back out within 12 months, then for me, that's a good balance of a good deal. But the key is that no money's left in after that first year. And therefore, everything thereafter is free money because you've got all your money back out and you can go do another deal. Rule number 3 is you must have multiple monetization plans. So the number of people that come up to me and say, Frank, I've got this deal. I'm going to do this with it, this with it, and this with it. And it's going to be amazing. And I go, yeah, but what if this one doesn't work? Oh, well, now it doesn't work because I need all 3 for it to actually be a deal that makes me any money. That's so common. And it cannot be the case for you because you'll lose money. By all means, have that as plan A. This and this and this, basically all the stars need to align and then I make tons of money. That's fantastic. That's plan A. But plan B is this. And plan C is this and plan D is this. And plan E is a single AST that we know we can do all day, every day. Only if you've got all those monetization plans in place can you be sure and certain that your property investment's gonna make you money for sure. Rule number 4 is very rarely spoken about, and I think it's one of the most important rules. People talk about deals being good or bad or mediocre. I don't buy into that. The most important factor when building a portfolio is a diversification across your portfolio. So important. That's the reason I only have 3 or 4 HMOs. That's the reason I only have 5 or 6 holiday lets in my portfolio. It's the reason I only have 1 hotel. It's the reason I have quite a few single ASTs. It's really important that you balance your portfolio. Now, some people would look at my portfolio and say, oh, Frank, you're not becoming focused, you're not niching down. And yes, I could make more money if I had a 100% service accommodation portfolio, or if I had 100% emergency accommodation or smart housing benefit. But one small change in legislation, one small tweak in rules, one change in interest rates, one tax change could completely undermine my business. And I don't want to risk that. I would rather be a bit more cautious, a bit more boring, a bit more spread out, and have a few different strategies running with my eggs spread out across those different baskets. And that diversification across your portfolio applies in many ways. It applies to strategies as I've just laid out, but also to mortgage products. It applies to areas of a town. So you might have identified a town where you want to invest, but don't buy 20 houses on the same street. Because what happens if a bad family moves into that street? Or if a ring road gets put down the end of it, or a big factory opens and now there's lots of trucks coming down the street, it's going to have an impact on your whole portfolio. So it's really important that you spread your risk amongst your portfolio. Rule number 5 is leveraging your time. and people underestimate this, especially people who start their property journey with limited funds, because at the start what they're doing is they're putting in massive action and they're using their time to generate momentum, which is brilliant. It's absolutely the right thing to do. But once you start buying properties, if you make yourself the letting agent, if you make yourself the DIY person, if you start doing all those jobs yourself, the bookkeeper, if you submit your own accounts, none of which is a mistake at the start, but if you continue to do that as your portfolio grows, you're going to run out of time. And by running out of time, you're stopping yourself from buying more properties, and you make money in property when you do deals. If you limit yourself to 4 or 5 properties, you're not going to make the returns that you could make if you leverage those lower level tasks and buy 40 or 50 properties. And that's how I've built my portfolio. That's how I continue to manage my portfolio on very little time each month. That's how I run the EPP franchise and continue to build my portfolio whilst maintaining it. It's because I leverage my time. And the great thing in property, every single role can be outsourced. You can have letting agents, you can have estate agents sell for you, you can have an accountant, you can have a bookkeeper, you can have a DIY person, you can have contractors. Literally everything can be outsourced. The bit you can't outsource is the £1,000 an hour tasks, which is finding the properties, negotiating with the vendors, structuring the deals. Those are the bits that you should continue to do. In conclusion, those are my 5 rules for successful real estate investment. And if you follow all 5, you are far more likely to be successful and far more likely to achieve your goals in property investment. If you've liked what you've learned in this video, if you'd like to see our other videos, please click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications, and click the like button, and that way we'll be able to give you more of our great content and help you further on your property investment journey. Until then, take care.